Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to share with you guys some of the products that I picked up while I was on vacation. Most of them I have used. There's been a few that I haven't used, but most of them I have used multiple times. Instead of doing a dedicated video to each one of these products, it's easier to just kind of throw them all into once as I'm trying them on, sharing my thoughts with you. As you could tell from the thumbnail, most of them are high-end. We have this GloWish from Huda Beauty, along with the GloWish bronzing cream, which has been super popular. And then of course we have the blushes from Pat McGrath. I also have this blush from Givenchy. I know, I bought it, I know. Anyway, I also try out this product from Huda Beauty. Most of the products in this video I've used multiple times. This is not one of them. This is the first time that I've used this, and this is Huda Beauty's Water Jelly Primer. So I'm going to use this on camera. And we also have this new palette from Surratt Beauty. They collaborated with Beautylish. So this is the palette that was in collaboration with Beautylish. I bought this while I was on vacation. Lots to say about this palette. We also have this eyebrow pencil from Gucci. Yes, I went ahead and bought that. I bought it so that you guys didn't have to. How about that? We also have this highlighter from Makeup by Mario. I'm going to try this out and give you guys my thoughts. Then finally, we have the new lip balms from Westman Atelier. Gucci Westman launched these new squeaky clean liquid lip balms. So I have one of them. I'm wearing it right now. Lots to say about this. I will also swatch and do a lot of comparisons of the products that I use in today's video so that you guys can see the colors and the tones and how they compare to other products that are out on the market. We're going to go ahead and jump straight into the video because this might be a longer video. I'm going to try to shorten it down as much as I can. But there's a lot to say about each one of these products. And when you're reviewing multiple products and kind of throwing it into one video, there's a lot to say. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into the video, and I will see you guys all in my final thoughts. Okay, so let's jump into playing with all these new products. The first product I want to talk about is this one from Huda Beauty. This is called the Water Jelly Hydrating Primer. Now, I've heard a lot of people rave about this, and I've never tried it, so I'm really curious to see how well it works. Oh, it is very watery. Oh, okay. Now, it doesn't really have a scent to it. Can't smell anything, to be honest with you, but it blends really nice. Now, with primers, I have to wear this with other products to determine if I'm going to like it or not, so I'm not really going to... I'll kind of share my first impressions of it, but in order to really get a good feel for it, I need to wear it with other foundations that I have in my collection and kind of go from there. This feels really nice. This like melts into the skin. Like, this feels really good. Like, really good. Let's talk about this from Huda Beauty. This is the GloWish. This is the Multi-Dew Skin Tint. Okay, so I've had this for, I would say, about a month now. I bought it while I was on vacation in Florida. So many of you guys know I was in Florida for almost a month. So I did post about this on my Instagram saying that I was going to try it out. I put it on and I was going to go to the beach, lay out, and see if this was kind of sweat-proof, waterproof. I didn't have the best luck. Every time I wore this, and I never had an experience with it being sweat-proof. So just FYI, I got this in 2 shades. So I picked up medium tan, which is number 6, and I got tan light, which is number 7. This is number 6, the medium tan, and this is number 7, which is tan light. Now, as you can see, it has some shimmering properties to it. It's got a glow to it, and it kind of reminds me of the like Auric from Samantha Ravindell. It kind of has that shimmering effect. Same thing as the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter. This one from Huda Beauty has more coverage than those two. However, because it has such a shimmering effect to it, it highlights everything that I don't want it to highlight. It emphasizes my pores and it emphasizes my wrinkles because it's got so much highlight in it. Now, I have mixed this with one of my favorite foundations, which is more of like a satin finish. I love mixing it with the La Mer Soft Fluid foundation because this isn't like matte, but it's not dewy either. So these two together just kind of create this really beautiful look to the skin. It has that shine from within. Now, medium tan 6 is probably a good shade for me, but the undertone is way too golden. So I can't wear the medium tan. I mean, look how kind of gold it is up against my skin. It's got too much of a yellow orange base to it. I have been wearing the tan light, which might be a little bit too dark, but the undertone works better in my opinion. I mean, this one has a pretty golden undertone too, but not as bad as number 6. Number 6 is so gold. Like, it is straight up yellow orange, and it just does not look good at all. And this one I can kind of brighten up with concealer, and it doesn't look as bad. Okay, then I'm going to kind of push it into the skin with a sponge. Now, I have applied this with my fingers. I don't love to apply foundation with my fingers. It actually is a phobia of mine. I can't, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. I don't like the feeling of foundation on my fingers. So, but I have used my fingers to apply this, and it applied pretty good with my fingers. It spreads pretty evenly with the hands. So if you're somebody that likes to apply with your fingers, this is a nice one to do that with. Let's move on to the brows. I'm looking a little ridiculous on that monitor right now. I need some concealer down here to kind of even things out, but I went ahead and put some concealer on my eyelids and stuff and kind of brought it up into the brows because the next product is from Gucci. They launched a new eyebrow pencil. This is a high precision natural finish eyebrow pen, and it's waterproof, supposedly. So I picked this up in shade 04, which I think is like brunette or something like that. So this is what the actual tip of it looks like. So it's one of those. I have to say this before I move on, because this is a very expensive brow pencil. Very expensive. The thing I need to mention is that the pencil that I used the most when I was in Florida and since I've been back is this from e.l.f. So right before I left for vacation, I did a full face of e.l.f. And in that video, I pulled out one of my old eyebrow pencils that I've had, and it's one of their, it's called the Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. And from that day forward, I forgot just how much I loved the brow pencil. This is a very, very tiny little tip on it, and I've been using it ever since. And I used it the whole time I was in Florida, didn't pick up anything else. And this is $5. So I had to mention that because this is a very expensive brow pencil. Now, okay, in all fairness, and I gotta be honest here, when they launched this, they also launched new nail polishes. And I think I ordered like 4 shades in the nail polish. 3 or 4. Anyway, one of the shades I had to order on the Gucci website because somebody was nice enough to let me know in my community center that one of the really pretty shades, it's kind of like a terracotta color, was only sold on the Gucci website. So I went ahead and ordered it. But anywho, I spent that much money on nail polish. But I just want to let you guys know that there is a really good option for $5. Okay, we're moving on. Okay, so I'm going to use this little pencil. This is not the first time I've used it. It actually works pretty good. I can't see if it's waterproof or not because I haven't tested that out. But it does work pretty good. I mean, it's a brow pencil. Okay, I mean, it's like nothing that we don't already have, right? But it is something I think that Gucci needed in their line. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with my brows. Very easy. And this is the color, by the way. It's really dark. So if I was going to order again, I would go with a lighter color. This is the brunette color. I'm going to grab my Tarte Ultra Creamy Shape Tape in the shade 37G. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in my concealer, and I will be right back. Let's move on to the next product from Huda Beauty. So this she launched with this skin tint. These are called the Soft Radiance bronzing powders, and they are very, very soft. They blend into the skin really pretty. This is the first shade that I bought, which is 03 Tan Light. It's a little bit too gray for me. So I went ahead and ordered the shade 04, which is Deep Tan, which Deep Tan seems like it's got a little bit of warmth in it. And I'm hoping that I will like this shade more than I did this shade, because this was too gray on my warm skin and I didn't like it. So I'm excited to try this new shade. I'm going to use this brush. This is the Refer number 5. And I'm going to go into the Deep Tan. That's pretty. Oh yeah, that's a pretty color. Look at that. Okay, so this blends into the skin beautifully. Wow, it is so pretty. It's just that shade I did not like. This I gotta tone down because it's a lot. Ooh, it can get strong quick, you guys. This is definitely a better shade. So once I powdered and kind of calmed everything down, it's looking much better. Love this shade, and this warmed up the skin in such a beautiful way. This is a nice bronzer, and it is kind of a creamy bronzer, so it's kind of like a hybrid. It's like a cream powder type of formula. You can kind of see the shine. Really like this, like a lot. And of course, I will swatch this next to a bunch of other bronzers that I have in my collection, so you guys can see these two shades next to other bronzers. I have 2 blush products here that were launched while I was on vacation. This first one is the McGrath Blush, and I have used it, and I do love it. It's a great blush. Beautiful blush. I mean, I didn't expect anything less, I'm going to be honest with you. But this one is the Divine Rose, and this one is Nude Venus. And I personally love this one the most, the Nude Venus. Out of the 2 shades that I have, I really love this one because it's a little bit more natural, but it's beautiful formula. The other thing that I got is this crazy stupid thing. I got suckered in. I did. I got suckered in. This is from Givenchy. This has 4 colors in this loose powder blush. I have not used this yet. It is brand spanking new. I have not used it. You can see. And I guess basically you mix them together and it creates one beautiful color. I don't know. I've never used a loose powder blush before, and I kind of feel like this is a little gimmicky, but we're gonna put it to the test. Things like this just always intrigue me. I'm like, let me try it. Let me buy it for you. I always tell it on myself like, well, I need to buy it so I can like let my followers know if this is something that's good or bad. And then secretly I'm buying it because I'm so curious and I can't say no. That's the problem. Oh, shit. Okay, so I just put some down in here in this little thing. I don't know how to apply it. So I'm going to take my clean blush brush and I'm going to go down in. Woo! Tap off. You guys, this is a lot. Here we go. Woo! Do you see that? That's pretty though. Okay, that's a pretty blush. It's a lot because I am going to go over it with powder, but you know what's interesting? It applies really evenly. This is really pretty, I have to admit. I don't want to admit it. I don't. It's gimmicky. Do you need it? Abso-freaking-lutely not, but it's pretty. It is pretty. I do like it. I have to admit, I like the way that it applied. It's very even, very, it's pretty. Is it necessary? No, it is not. This is a very stupidly expensive blush for the price, okay? But it does apply really pretty, and it is a pretty shade. So there you go. Okay, I'm going to take a clean brush, and I am going to go into this Nude Venus from McGrath. Oh, it's so pretty. This has a little bit of shine to it, which I definitely don't need today because I'm already shining from the moon. But you can see it. It's just really pretty. So I've used her blushes several times and I like the formula a lot. There you go. Okay, I'm going to powder really quick because I've got a lot of blush on. So I'll be right back. Okay, after adding a lot of powder, I have finally calmed down all of that shine. And like I said, I cannot wear that foundation without powder. It just doesn't work. And I will not spray it with any setting spray because I would get it to this point and then I would spray setting spray on it and then it would just kind of bring it all back and I'd have to start all over again. So when I wear this the times that I've worn this foundation alone, I don't spray any setting spray over the powder because this I can deal with. This has calmed down the shine. I have a natural glow to the skin, but it's not so much glow. So I can handle this. Let's move on to the highlighter. Now, I did pick up the new highlighter from Makeup by Mario while I was on vacation. This is called the Soft Glow Highlighter, and I got it in the shade Golden. And she is very, very strong. Very strong. She's a very, very, very bold highlighter. So I'm going to put a little bit of this on so you guys can see. It is a nice formula. It's a creamy formula. It does kind of blend right into the skin. And I normally only need one swipe. And I use that one swipe all over the face because it is very strong. But it's a really pretty highlighter. I wouldn't say it's anything different than what we have. So if you're not in the market for a new highlighter, I would totally pass on this because there really isn't anything that makes this unique. It's just a normal, typical highlighter that's out on the market. But this is the shade Golden and it is really pretty. So I will swatch this next to some other golden highlighters that I have in my collection so you guys can see how this looks compared to some of the others. Let's move on to the palette. Now, while I was on vacation, Beautylish collaborated with Surratt and created this palette right here. The reason why I bought this palette is because I love the Beyond Beige palette. This is one of those, it's a very expensive $100 palette. It's ridiculously priced. And do I feel like it's worth it? No. But do I use it? Absolutely. And I took this on vacation and used it several times while I was there. So this is one of those that I don't feel like is worth the $100, but it's worth the splurge. If you want to splurge on it, I don't think you'll be disappointed in it. It's one of those palettes. So when I saw that Beautylish was collaborating with Surratt and creating this palette, I had to get it. This shade right here is similar to the Beyond Beige palette because it's more of a like a shimmering matte. We're just going to play with this palette and I'll give you my thoughts on it. So I'm going to start with the Rephr number 2 brush and I'm going to go into this shade right here. I'm going to bring that right here on the lower lash line. That's a pretty color, isn't it? It's very, very soft on the eye. I'm going to go ahead and bring this on the outer corner. This is a really pretty soft shimmer. It's one of those like effortless, really pretty, kind of easy to use. And that's what I loved about the Beyond Beige palette. But it is a really soft, soft formula. And I mean, I just couldn't resist it, you guys. I love that Beyond Beige palette. It's just, it's kind of my guilty pleasure. I don't want to love it because it's so expensive for how much you get. And so little that you get, but it's just so pretty. I love it, you know? And here's the thing, I don't mind spending the money on it if I'm gonna love it. Like if I'm gonna use it and love it, I'm totally fine with spending the money on it. It's just, I don't like to waste the money. Like if I buy something for that kind of money and I hate it, that makes me nuts. Now, the thing about Surratt is that, you know, this type of shade has a little bit of that glitter in it, but it's so finely milled that it just brings a beautiful shine to the eye versus looking like a glitter mess on the eye. I love the way they do those soft shimmer shades. They're so pretty. I want to go into this shade and see what that shade looks like on the lower lash line, see if it builds up any depth. And I am going to add that right here on the outer corner and see if that even makes a difference. It does work good over top of that shade. Now let's go into this color. This is kind of a pink shadow and it does have a little bit of shimmer in it. It's a matte. And I'm going to place this like right on the lid. And I'm using the flat definer from Sonia G. Then I'm going to go back into this color and I'm going to kind of put that on like right here to kind of blend those colors together. Now I'm going to grab this shade right here and I'm going to pop this on the inner corner. And I'm also going to bring that up on the brow bone. Now I'm going to take an eyeliner. This one is from Victoria Beckham. And to add some definition, I'm going to take the eyeliner right here close to the lower lash line. And then I'm going to kind of smudge it out. And I'm going to do that up here on the outer corner on the upper lash line as well. I'm going to take some of the brown eyeliner and put it right up on the waterline. Let's jump into the new mascara that I got from Wayne Goss. Wayne Goss and Beautylish were kind enough to send this to me in PR. I've used it several times. I am going to put on a primer really quick. I'm going to put on this. This is from Dior. This is the lash base from Dior. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of that on. Now this mascara from Wayne Goss is called the Waterproof Mascara. And this is what the brush looks like. I absolutely love the brush because it's not too big. It's not too small. It's kind of the right size. And I'm going to go ahead and put some coats of this on. Now this does lift the lashes. And it does kind of plump them and like thicken them up, which I really like the formula. Okay, so I just finished with the mascara. This is 2 coats. With this mascara, I don't need more than 2 coats. 2 coats is plenty. And it makes the lashes look beautiful. Like I love the way that it kind of splays them out. It's a great mascara. The only negative issue that I've had with this mascara is if I'm not wearing eyeshadow, it will smudge up here. What I normally do, like on days that I'm just kind of in a rush and I don't have time to put eyeshadow on and I kind of just do my base, I will put on the concealer on my eyelids, but I always set it with powder. I always set it with this Charlotte Tilbury finishing powder and it still transfers. I've tried it with loose powder and it still transfers. I've tried it with like a foundation powder. The Fenty foundation powder still transfers. So I'm not sure why it transfers when I'm not wearing eyeshadow, but it does. That is my only complaint about the mascara. Everything else I love. I think as far as lips go, I did pick this up. This is from Westman Atelier, Gucci Westman. She created new squeaky clean liquid lip balms. And I got the shade Mapuce. I don't know. Mapuce? I don't know. M-A-P-U-C-E. Comes in this little bag. And this is what it looks like. This is what the color looks like. So this is definitely more of kind of a lip balm, kind of more of like a natural look. I will tell you though, I don't love this formula. And there's one reason. I don't think it's clumpy. I think it melts into the lips really easily and really pretty. What I don't like about it is that it's one of those that gets kind of like as it gets on your tongue, it will kind of stick to the roof of your mouth. Like you can feel it. It sticks to the tongue and then you can kind of feel the tongue gets kind of rough as it moves on the roof of your mouth. It's one of those glosses. I don't think that's a good explanation. Great formula, nice pigment, feels really good on the lips. I just hate how it feels on my tongue and against the roof of my mouth. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys have ever had that experience with a gloss. If you have, this is one of them. And Okay, so I am done. This is the final look. And let's go through the products that I used in today's video. Let's start with the GloWish. Now, here's the thing about the GloWish. Overall, I like this. I was able to calm down all that shine by using a ton of powder, more powder than I'm normally used to using. So for me, even though this does look really pretty, I feel like for me, the best way for me to use this and enjoy it is by mixing it with another foundation. So if you guys have bought this and you're struggling with using it because maybe it does make you look a little bit too greasy or whatever, then try mixing it with one of your favorite more satin type matte foundations and see how it works then. That's definitely my preferred way to apply it, and I feel like it kind of gives life to some of those dull foundations that are out on the market. So, you know, for me, that's still how I'm going to use it, but even though I had to use a lot of powder, this does look really pretty. As far as the primer goes, I actually think I'm going to really like this primer. I'm going to continue to use it. Of course, I've got to use it with other foundations to kind of really get a good feel for it, but so far I actually really like it. It doesn't feel like you have anything sitting on top of the skin, and it is a nice like watery gel where it feels like the skin kind of absorbs it. So I'm going to continue to use this, and I will definitely keep you guys updated, but I think I'm going to like it. I really do. So far, I'm impressed. The Gucci eyebrow pencil, I think we've already determined a little bit too much money to pay for an eyebrow pencil, and I feel like the others that I have in my collection are just as good. So if you guys were thinking about getting this, I would pass. I really would. I think there's better out on the market than this. That's just my opinion. Okay, so the GloWish Soft Radiant Bronzing Powder. I am so glad I got a different shade in this because I bought this shade while I was in Florida and I hated it. Did not like the way it looked. It was muddy and gray and weird. And I did not like it. So I was getting ready to come home and film and tell you guys that I didn't like this formula. But before I did, I thought, you know what? It might be the shade because I had to build it. Because the shade is lighter, even though it's described as tan light, the shade is lighter. So for me, I had to kind of build it. I mean, that's tan light. So because I had to keep building it, the more I built, the more it got muddy, and I did not like the finish of it. I didn't like it at all. It started to kind of just look really unnatural. So I did not like this, but this deep tan now, this is more warm toned, more warm base. This is what a bronzer is for me. It's got the warmth and I don't have to build it too much. So therefore I get that instant pigment, so I don't have to keep building it and then running the risks of it getting too muddy. This is a nice formula. Like, I really like this. Okay, so the Pat McGrath blushes, I think is a beautiful formula. It is so pretty. Now, the one from Givenchy kind of surprised me. I actually really like this. Do I feel like this is necessary? Absolutely not. This is not necessary. This blush is no different than any other blush that we have. I can promise you that. It is different because it's a loose powder, but it blends really easily. Like if I was just going to give my thoughts just strictly about the blush, it is a really pretty blush. I don't have any complaints. I think the formula is beautiful. I think it blends beautifully. But if you guys were curious about these, this is pretty cool. This is not necessary. These are ridiculously priced. Ridiculously priced, you guys. But I do like it. I can't come on here and lie and say I don't, because I do. Same goes for the highlighter from Makeup by Mario. I like the formula. It's nothing different than what we don't already have out there. So if you're not really in the market for a highlighter, I wouldn't, you know, see the need to grab it. This is a nice highlighter. It's just a really strong highlighter. So kind of keep that in mind. Okay. The palette, the Surratt and Beautylish collaboration. This is a pretty palette. This shade right here needed to be darker. If this shade right here was darker, I would recommend this. But because the shade isn't darker, it's like you needed something to give you some depth. And even if, I mean, I don't know. I wish that they would have, because there's all three, you know, these two shades are both light. This one's more of like a medium. Like, I built this up quite a bit. This is kind of like a gray color, and I don't understand the gray. with the tones that are in here. So if this wasn't so gray, I would recommend this. I really would, because I do really like the 3 shades that are in the palette. But in order to justify $100 for 4 shades, I need to love every single shade, and I don't love every single shade in this palette. If you have a lighter skin tone than I do, I think you'll really enjoy the palette. But you just have to decide if $98 is worth for 4 shadows. That's up to you. For those of you guys that are gonna ask me if you had to pick one palette out of this new one that was launched with Beautylish or the Beyond Beige, you guys, the Beyond Beige. 100%. This is a fantastic palette. This is a fantastic palette. I know it's stupid expensive, but I don't regret it. So I know that they're working on getting this back into stock. So if you want the Beyond Beige palette, I recommend going to the Beautylish website, entering your email, and they will notify you as soon as it launches. I don't regret buying that. And if I had to pick which one I would buy the Beyond Beige all day long. Now, as far as the gloss, you can kind of see it's building up here in the corners of my mouth. Do you see that? So this gloss is kind of, yeah, it's not my favorite gloss. There's a lot of great glosses out on the market. And if this was cheaper, I would say, yeah, you could probably deal with the bad things about it. But there's so many great glosses out on the market that are so much cheaper than this one. I personally can't recommend this gloss. I just can't. I think it's overpriced for too many flaws. Fenty Beauty, personally, in my opinion, has one of the best formulas that you can get from Sephora. And if you were gonna buy this from Westman Atelier, I would buy the ones from Fenty. They're fantastic. So those are my overall thoughts. Sound off down below in the comments section. Let us know any of the products that I used in today's video. Have you used them? What has been your experience? Do you like them? Do you not? What are your favorite products? Just share with us in the comment section down below. Let's chat about all the products that I used in today's video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in today's video. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.